3 potential cheap trade targets on defense for the Toronto Maple Leafs. My people, new news is out now. If you are an internet user, you don't want to miss any news every day. Subscribe to the channel right now, because I'm following all this news and I'll update you on this outcome firsthand. The NHL trade deadline is quickly approaching as we're just under 3 weeks away from the March 3rd date. What would it cost for the Maple Leafs to land Patrick Kane? Kuiper and Bourne menu. What would it cost for the Maple Leafs to land Patrick Kane? Kuiper and Bourne. How should the Maple Leafs handle Auston Matthews' return from injury? Kuiper and Bourne. It'd be a little weird for Matthews to see Patrick Kane and another Dylan Strome on his biggest purchase in the NHL. Leafs morning take. You think about that all the time. Leafs Tavares and Keefe hope to celebrate downtown with Stanley Cup. Always fun taking that subway. Leafs Marner and Rillion getting to practice downtown. He's been outstanding. Maple Leafs head coach Keefe says team excited for Wall's season debut. Would Domi be a perfect addition for Maple Leafs to gear up for Tampa and Boston? Darren Dreger on if the Leafs should trade for a forward or defenseman. Leafs morning take. With the deadline just around the corner, the Toronto Maple Leafs have been linked to a handful of players thus far. And with every passing day comes new reports and rumors of what they could potentially do come the deadline. From the organization reportedly wanting to improve on both forward and defense, there are a bunch of trade targets for this team. Obviously, not all are realistic or have a chance of happening though. However, some could be dealt to Toronto and help this team moving forward. In particular, there's a small handful of defensemen on cheap contracts that could help solidify this team's blue line depth come playoff time if they don't want to make a big splash on the blue line and would rather save that for up front to help the top 6. With that said, let's get into the 3 potential targets. Luke Schenn is currently on multiple trade target boards when you look at TSN's, Sportsnet, and even daily faceoffs. Schenn is a physical right-shot defenseman who has been playing some pretty good hockey, albeit in a second/third pairing role if you look at his ice time, for the last couple of seasons between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Vancouver Canucks. Schenn is on a very cheap and reasonable contract that sees the 33-year-old as a pending UFA. So you know a lot of teams will be out there looking to add the veteran blue liner come trade deadline day. Now, if Schenn decides to move on and is traded from Vancouver, I think Toronto could be a team that wouldn't mind Schenn's services at his current cap hit. He obviously wouldn't be coming here to take on big minutes, but I could see him slotting in on the third pair or even rotating with guys in and out. As I said, he's a physical right-shot defenseman, so you know a lot of general managers around the league like those guys. Schenn currently has checks notes 250 hits and 78 blocks on the season in just 53 games. Let me repeat myself, 250 hits. That are absurd numbers and that puts the 33-year-old on pace to finish the season with 382 hits and 119 blocks, which is valuable to some general managers around the league. It's been reported by multiple insiders that Calgary and Boston are 2 other teams that have interest in the big blue liner, and according to our own Nick Alberga here at the Leafs Nation, Winnipeg is also a team in on Schenn's services. So it'll be a wait-and-see process with this Schenn situation as March 3rd is just under 3 weeks away. Nick Seeler might be a name not a lot of people are too familiar with for a couple of reasons. 1. He's 29 years old and only has 200 games of NHL experience. And 2. He plays on the 2022-23 Philadelphia Flyers. Well, if you don't know who Seeler is, he is a big body on skates that can play both sides of the blue line. He's a left-shot defenseman who is 6 feet 2 inches and over 200 pounds and is on a very cheap contract for this season and next season at a cap hit of just $775,000, which is super valuable to contending teams like the Toronto Maple Leafs. I don't know what the Flyers would be blown away by because I don't know what the asking price for Seeler is. However, defenseman Jacob Megna did get traded from San Jose to Seattle for a 2023 4th-round pick a couple of weeks ago. So maybe a similar return for Seeler would get the job done? We'll have to wait and see.